girlfriend, did you miss me? 'Cause I missed you this much. Sometimes I get kind of sad thinking about how much I miss you. But then I realize it's really quite special that I have someone so wonderful to miss.
Good news, everyone! We're still here, still breathing, and still fighting for the controversial right to keep doing that. And that's something. Let's hit it. Despite the fact that it's been a couple weeks, there hasn't been a whole lot of good news. But there have been a few events of note, so let's get into it. First up, it's Pride Month! And the community is turning out like never before. The L's, the G's, the B's, and the T's. Plus the pluses, along with allies, relatives, and people who haven't traded their heart for a cheap red hat, all came out around the US for pride parades and festivals, despite sharp decreases in corporate sponsorships. While New York and San Francisco, the two longest-running Pride events in the States, have their big bashes this coming weekend, other cities everywhere have been showing out big and breaking records. Baltimore reports 15,000. Kansas City, as well as my own nearby city of Syracuse, hosted upwards of 22,000 each. Milwaukee saw 46,000. Philadelphia and Boston had around 100,000 each for their parades alone. Key West, which runs a week-long event that's still in progress, has already blown past that and is on track for 250,000. And Chicago saw over 1 million, just to name a few. It's also worth noting that America's angriest toddler felt like he was being left out, so threw his own parade for Pride Month, and it was attended. The best part, in this reporter's humble opinion, is that counting the 6,000 troops ordered to participate in the actual marching, the estimated total was, generously, 8647. In fairness, it probably isn't his fault his numbers at a national event were less than half what even a small city like mine put up. It was his first time organizing a parade, and he didn't even have the staff to get the rainbow flags up before the crowd arrived, because he deported the staff. But details. You know, he put a lot of effort in and did his best. He was so worn out, the poor dear had to take a nap and missed most of it. Almost adorable. Passports are back on the menu. For now. Probably. From USA Today. Travelers can once again get a U.S. passport that aligns with their gender identity. For now. U.S. District Judge Julia Kobach in Boston expanded a preliminary injunction on Tuesday against a Trump administration policy of only issuing passports reflecting a person's gender assigned at birth. In the past, Americans had been able to get passports in line with their gender identities, including an X marker as of 2022. That changed the moment Trump took office and issued an executive order directing the State Department to no longer do that. We've covered that order on the show before, TLDR. It boils down to whatever's on your birth certificate is what has to go on your passport, even if it isn't correct and causes confusion. And also, not if that's what's on your birth certificate now, but whatever. It's just common sense. When the State Department followed that weird incoherent, pseudoscientific, factually incorrect, and confusing order, transgender, non-binary, and intersex passports in America were left in limbo for much more than travel. Quote, "If our gender markers don't match who we are, then it's going to cause us problems. From housing, from renting cars, to renting hotel rooms, to buying cars, to buying houses. Everything, you name it." Michaela, a transgender woman in Texas whose passport was on hold, told USA Today in January. Quote, "There's so much more to it in every element that people just don't think about." In April, Judge Kobik issued a preliminary injunction allowing 6 people named in a lawsuit co-filed by the American Civil Liberties Union, Orr versus Trump, to be able to get passports reflecting their correct gender identities while the case made its way through the courts. Last week, Kobik expanded that preliminary injunction following motions for class certification and expanding the previous ruling to anyone who is or will be impacted by the administration's passport policy, according to the ACLU. Following the ruling, the ACLU wrote, quote, "Today's ruling from the court means that a passport with a sex designation that aligns with one's gender identity or with an X sex designation should be made available to anyone applying to obtain a new passport, change the sex designation, or update their name on their current passport, replace a lost, stolen, or damaged passport, or renew their passport within 1 year of its expiration." This includes those who, under the Trump administration's policy, were previously sent a passport with a sex designation listing their sex assigned at birth after applying for a new, renewed, or replacement passport and/or a changed name or gender marker. The ACLU encourages Americans to take advantage of this temporary reprieve from the policy. It's important to note this judicial block is not permanent, though that is being pursued. So if you didn't get your passport before Trump took office, this is the window you've been waiting for. Better get it while you can. This story is brief, but it bears reporting. This year, Maine once again shot down proposed anti-trans bills, much to the chagrin of our old friend Representative Libby. Of particular note is LD 233, which was titled, and I wish this were satire, "An Act to Prohibit Biological Males from Participating in School Athletic Programs and Activities Designated for Females when State Funding is Provided to the School." Unquote. The APBMPSAPADFWSFPS may have an ungodly long name, but the text is one of the shortest bills ever proposed. It contains a single sentence. Quote, "A school administrative unit or an elementary school, secondary school, or post-secondary educational institution in the state that receives any state funding may not allow a person whose biological sex assigned at birth is male to participate in athletic program or activity that is designated for females." The author's knowledge of law seems to be on about the same level as their ability to title things, because passing a law that applies to one sex only fails constitutional scrutiny at the most basic level. We don't even have to get into the explicit discrimination against trans women specifically to see this proposed bill would last all of 4 seconds if it had become a law. Thankfully, the state Senate nuked it in 3. Meanwhile, New York is upgrading the state's SHIELD law. The existing law protects access to necessary health care for residents, reproductive care, including abortions, as well as gender care, such that laws at local or federal levels can't come between a patient and their doctor. The 2.0 version strengthens privacy protections, adding immunity to information requests or extradition demands from other states. Proponents of this bill, which is expected to be signed by Governor Hochul, point out that gender care isn't just for trans people. In fact, The vast majority of gender-related healthcare is for cisgender patients, from cis men with gynecomastia who need their healthy breast tissue removed to feel comfortable, to cis women who may need a breast reduction for back pain or facial feminization to look and feel more womanly. Just to name a few examples. Now, let's hear from the community.
This isn't a crime, but it should be. You thinking you're not hot when you're literally this. This is how hot you are. You're over here saying, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not sexy. This is you. Burning us all with your sexiness. Who's got this? Who's amazing? Who's hot? That's what I thought.
Let's check out the Gay Pride collection at the Home Depot. We're starting off strong with this adorable handbag featuring rainbow-colored nut drivers. They set up this DIY jewelry making station, so I made a choker and an anklet. Queer art was sprinkled throughout the whole store, like this art installation made by a local lesbian. They literally thought of everyone. Gay electricians, we got you. Gay rock climbers, we see you. No kink shaming here. This mask would be great for pride after parties or networking events. This is a great gift for any gay that you know that needs their crack filled. This rodent repellent also works to repel homophobia. These glitter body paint sprays are super fun. My best friend actually picked up the silver. She sprayed it all over her baby and it looked like a little disco ball with legs. It was so cute. I think this tool belt is great for carrying around gay things like chapstick or condiments. They had rainbow colored cacti for the plant gays and knee pads for the gay elderly.
So I'm a trans man, for anyone who doesn't know, and when I was a kid I was desperate to fit in with the other boys, and all I wanted to wear were clothes from the boys section. If you want a general vibe of how I dressed when I was about 8 to 10 years old, this is the vibe. And I had this one pair of jeans. They were like blue and they were baggy. They were from the boys section. I remember wearing them and I used to get teased a lot for wearing boys' clothes as a kid, but I loved these jeans. Could not find a photo of me wearing the jeans, but you get the idea. Recently, as an adult, I came across a pair of jeans that looked remarkably like this pair I had when I was 7 years old. And I was like, wow, noughties fashion really must be making a comeback. But also, oh my gosh, I'm an adult with my own money and free will. I'm gonna get myself these jeans. And these are the jeans. Ta-da! They are so different to what I normally wear. They're very baggy but incredibly comfortable. But I wanted to make this silly little video about them because it gave me such a moment of gender euphoria and all the cheesy feels about my life and my transness and being a man and everything. So I was like, wow, as a kid I got these jeans and they made me feel really cool and they made me feel like I fit in more, but I still got teased about it and I was just desperate to be seen as one of the boys. And now I'm a grown man living a life that 7-year-old me only could have ever dreamed of, and here's me wearing the same jeans again that made me feel really cool as a child and made me feel really cool as an adult. I have no idea if they suit me, but I love them. So yeah, that's just my little moment of how some jeans brought me trans joy. Thank you for watching.
Here's a transition update for you. I'm fucking happy. Right? Like, I look in the mirror and I smile and shit. I'm happy with myself. I can see a future. Like, I want to keep going. I want to keep living. I don't hate myself. I can finally stomach looking at myself. I'm just happy. I'm just happy. And I don't care about all the people that don't want me to be trans, all the people that whatever. I am fucking happy. So there's your transition update.
I'd love to compete against a trans woman. I'd love to compete against her. And then maybe after, regardless of who wins, we go to dinner. Her and me. And then after that, drinks. And then the rest of our lives and our family together.
The other day I met my friend's mom for the first time and she told me that I looked beautiful. So I'm transgender. I've been transitioning for about 3 or 4 years now. And the idea that somebody would just be like, wow, that person's really pretty and has really pretty hair is still so foreign to me. It's still crazy and I'm still loving it, baby. It's just like I grew up never being told that I looked particularly good, probably because I was a man and we socialize men to never get any compliments regarding their appearance. And as a result, I transitioned and suddenly people were like, wow, you look really pretty. And I thought that they were just pitying me. And then I got further along in my transition. And the further I got along, the more people kept being like, wow, Lila looks really pretty. And the more people who didn't know I was transgender started being like, wow, Lila's really pretty. And people want to ban the drugs that make people transition. People want to ban this smile off of my face when my friend's mom is like, oh my god, tell Lila that she is just gorgeous. Because oh my god, what a looker she is. Because, you know what? Maybe I am a looker. Maybe I am a looker sometimes, and maybe that makes me really happy. And I don't know, I can't stop smiling, I can't stop smiling, I can't stop smiling. I love being trans, I love being a woman. This is really fun. I just like... I can't believe people want to get rid of this. This is amazing.
You do not owe anyone an explanation for existing. You don't have to defend your pronouns. You don't have to defend your identity. You don't have to defend the fact that you're queer, trans, non-binary, or anything else. You're allowed to just exist. The people who get it, or who want to get it, will show up for you. And the people who don't, won't. It's that simple. You are not a TED Talk. You are a beautiful human being. You are a miracle. We may have to fight for our rights, but that's different than fighting for our existence. You exist, you're beautiful, you're becoming. I love you.
So 16 states as of July 1st will have bathroom laws saying trans people can't use the bathroom that matches their gender identity. 16. And I just want to ask, what problem are we solving here? Because trans people aren't going through hormone therapy, surgery, public discrimination, and having to rebuild their entire lives just to sneak into a bathroom. That's not happening. You know who does commit sexual assault? Overwhelmingly, it's straight men. You know, like your uncles, your coaches, your priests, and your favorite presidents. And now these laws are forcing trans men, like fully transitioned bearded adult men, into the women's restroom. Let that sink in. You're going to have guys who look like lumberjacks walking into the women's bathroom because the law says they have to. And then you're all going to freak out again and scream about men in the women's bathroom. And you made that shit happen. It's not about safety. It's never been about safety. It's about control. It's about shaming people for being different. It's about erasing trans people from public life entirely. And this goes way beyond bathrooms. Federal agencies, including the CDC, HUD, and the Department of Education, are now removing references to transgender people altogether and restricting recognition of gender diversity across the board. They're literally scrubbing trans people from existence, one policy at a time. And while this is all happening online, LGBTQ creators are being buried in the algorithm, harassed nonstop, and platforms like Meta and YouTube aren't doing a damn thing about it. GLAAD literally put out a report saying social media is less safe than ever for queer people. So the real message that they're trying to get across is, we don't want you in public. We don't want you online either. Just disappear. That's really what this is about. But I got news for you. The LGBTQ community is not disappearing. They're not going anywhere. And as an ally, I'm going to keep calling this shit out until people finally get it through their thick skulls that trans rights are human rights.
Everything's gonna be okay because I love you. I love you. And today might not be your best day, but I still love you. I love you. And I guess that's not really a logical solution, but that's okay. Because I'll always wanna be here for you, cause I love you. I love you. Yeah. I should probably write this down.
I was just thinking about it, and I really do love trans men because they looked around, they went, I can do that better. And they do. And they did. And they will. I love you, trans people. Mwah.
This week, T-Boy Wrestling came to the Bay Area featuring transgender wrestlers. The event drew hundreds of people and filled the venue. As the wrestlers told ABC 7 News reporter Tara Campbell, this is a chance for many of them to be who they really are.
The sound of victory, both inside the ring and out, for this group of transgender wrestlers and their fans.
Being with people like me and wrestling like my friends and just people who have the same honestly common experiences makes it just so much more accessible. It makes it so much more fun and comfortable.
T-Boy Wrestling was created by the founders of Trans Dudes of LA, a social group for transgender men.
As a way really just bring trans men together and give them the space both in sports and performance to, express their point of view from the trans-masculine perspective.
And it makes me feel at home. Like when I'm here, I feel like I'm at home.
Jameson Rodriguez left his home in Florida behind less than a year ago.
Coming over here and finding refuge, this has been so important for me because we don't have anything like this out there.
There is no doubt that this is a very difficult time for the transgender community, specifically within the LGBTQ plus community. Can you tell me what it means in this moment to have this here hold you?
I think in a way it's a protest to everyone who tells us we can't be who we are. Because like joy is a protest, like that is the protest, because they don't want us to be ourselves. They don't want us to find joy in existing. They want us to hate ourselves, and like we don't. We understand who we are. We understand our identities very well in a very complex way.
There's always something to look at T-Boy Wrestling.
And these fans in Oakland are being treated to the first stop on the T-Boys multi-city tour.
When I bought the tickets, they said they were going to sell out fast. And I was like, really? Are they? I was unsure. But it's really exciting to see exactly how many people want to see something like this.
Who's going to take it? Who's going to take it?
It's really awesome to see it grow. And I'm hoping we can just do that in every city and kind of have like a small community of trans men in every major city. So yeah, people can find their people.
Tara Campbell, ABC 7 News.
Pride Month? It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Oh, so you think we should live the way Adam and Eve lived? Yes, we should. That's the way God intended us to live. Just so you know, Adam and Eve were vegans. What? In Genesis 1:29, God says, I give you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. God gives Adam and Eve plants to eat, not animals or even animal byproducts. But the next verse talks about animals, right? Oh yeah, and to every beast of the field, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, and everything that has the breath of life, God gives to Adam and Eve to eat. Actually, no, the verse ends with God explaining that animals are also given every green plant to eat. In the Garden of Eden, the only food God explicitly approves of is plants. But God gives humans dominion over animals. We also see that word apply to kings. Do they eat their subjects? No. Other parts of the Bible say parents should have dominion over their children. Does that mean we're supposed to eat our kids? No. So are you done with meat or what? I don't think that the way that God set up the Garden of Eden is proscriptive for it. I think it's just descriptive. I agree. We already do this work of biblical interpretation all the time. We've done it with slavery, with spousal abuse, with genocide, with interest on loans, with wealth, and all sorts of other things. What's your point? If you insist that the Bible tells us something, you better have a framework that explains why you're lifting up certain passages and ignoring other passages. I haven't heard of biblical literalists becoming vegans because they're not actually biblical literalists. They're literalists in the way Scalia was a textualist. The original meaning was always what they already believed. I guess I never thought of it that way. There's a multiplicity of viewpoints in the Bible. If the Bible always agrees with your worldview, then you are lying to yourself. Find something beautiful in it and use that as a lens through which to view everything else. Like what? In Matthew 22, Jesus says all the commandments are summed up in this. Love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the lens through which I interpret everything else. That's why I'm affirming of LGBTQ+ folks. Jesus told me to love the marginalized, so that's why I'm happy to celebrate Pride this month.
This video is just for people under the trans umbrella, so if you aren't, please don't interact with it. That being said, stitch this and share with me and other trans people your favorite moment of trans joy. I'll go first. Early on in my transition, I decided to get a new pair of glasses. These are the glasses in question. And when I put them on my face, they fit me in a way that I wasn't really expecting, and I started crying tears of euphoria. I took a short little video, and I still look back on it fondly. And even though these glasses are cute, it was because they were a new lens to view myself through. And I can see now that all of those puns were fucking intentional. This may be a genuine video, but I'm still a shit poster, and I'm not sorry!
First of all, love the pun. We adore aggressively bad puns around here. Well played. Second, trans joy. So this past weekend, I got to participate in my area's Pride Parade. I was actually in the parade, and that was really cool. And on my way home, I needed to stop and get some groceries. Now, I was tempted to go home and change first, but screw it. I was looking like this. I was fabulous, and we're just going with it. We're just going with it. And so I walk into the store, and as I'm walking through the door, a man is coming the other way. And instead of a look, his face lights up. He was like, "Oh, it's so wonderful to see you." And that kind of shook me a little. Not what I expected. But I mean, great, but not what I expected. And a few people looked, because I looked pretty damn fabulous, and some people looked, but nothing hostile. And then as I wound my way through the aisles, one woman came up to me and she said, "Oh, did you just come from Pride?" And I said, "Why, yes." And she said, "Is it still going on?" And I said, well, yes. I had to go to the grocery store and do some other things, but it was still going when I left. And she said, "Fantastic. I want to go." And I was hoping I didn't miss it. And then she says, "You look fantastic, by the way." And she gave me a hug. And I just... not at all what I expected. To have people literally embrace you for being who you are. It's amazing. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe. Transpositions Weekly is the first and only weekly trans news show in the universe, and we need your support to keep the show going. Contribute at patreon.com/thetranspositions. Spread the word over social media to let people know we're here, and tell us what stories matter to you by joining the community on Discord. Discord, of course, is where the memes live, and our meme of the week was posted by Sapphire Light. And if you are enjoying or simply looking forward to your own experience with antihistamines, join us. Also, if you have good news concerning trans people you'd like to see reported on, you can tell us about that in the Discord as well. For the Transpositions, I've been Ember Belrad.
Tomorrow's just another day that I'll still love you. I love you. And you got yourself through yesterday, and I'm so proud of you. And I know that nothing's promised tomorrow, but this I'll promise you. I'll always wanna be here for you, 'cause I love you. I love you, yeah.